Hello, book club. Megas here on a beautiful day. Today is Harper Lee's birthday, the author of To Kill a Mockingbird. And so I thought we should celebrate that together. And what a perfect day. We're doing chapters 6 and 7, which were so amazing. So let's head inside and discuss these beautiful chapters, these beautiful characters. Love you guys. Hello, book club. Megas here, back in the library. To Kill a Mockingbird. Oh my God. I love this freaking book so much. Oh, we're in chapter 6 and 7 today. Do me a favor. Grab your hot cocoa and marshmallows and just settle in for a minute. This might be a little longer video because I need to talk about this. What makes a book like this different than, we read hundreds of books. Why are there some that come along? This is the magic I'm always looking for. What is that thing in that book that makes it so good, sets it apart from the rest? The others that you just read, it's fun, it's entertaining, blah, blah, blah. You forget about it. These characters, I know, are going to stay with me for the rest of my life. And you know what? I think it's like, it's almost like if you go to, I'm thinking when I was a kid, this book definitely brings me back to childhood. I think when I was a kid, there was this western town. And the town, the fronts were just a facade, right? Just a wood front, but there's no rooms behind it. And that's what a lot of books and writing are. Their world building is very cheap, very shallow, just a front. There's no depth in it. The characters, I'm thinking like the characters in that western town. They had one thing. They come out and they say a couple lines. They pull their guns. They shoot. Just not deep characters. A book like this, you go behind the front of the house, the facade. You go in and there's rooms. And in those rooms are items. And those items hold a story. And those rooms hold history. And the people, they're deep and rich. We know all about their lives. We know what makes them tick, what their dreams and goals are. When we see their struggles and it's rich. It's so full. And then I had this question. I wrote it here in a question mark because I'm wondering with this book, because of what it is, it takes me so deep in my imagination. I'm wondering, did Harper Lee write these deep characters, this world building where I feel like I'm on the street, I know these people? Or is it just my own memories? Does everyone experience this with this book? Or is it because I'm taken back when I was a kid? I'm at my grandma's house and I'm there with my cousins and all of our friends and going on all these adventures, and I can still smell the smell of the garage. I can smell the backyard. I can remember the tree we climbed, the fence we would jump over. I can picture it so vividly. Is that what I'm doing? Is this book bringing up those memories and I'm inserting those in the story? Or is that how deep and beautiful this story is? Oh, I'm beyond words. It's so beautiful to me right now. But it has me wondering, are you guys experiencing it that deep? Or is it just my own memories that I'm inserting into it? Go to the comments, let me know. I wish we were all here so we could talk. And I want to hear everyone else, every one of you telling me your story. But this is how it is on a video, right? On YouTube doing book club. But you can go to the comments. Let me know. Hit that like button too. We got to keep this channel going. This channel here, you got your hot cocoa, your marshmallows, you're going to stay with me. This might be a while. But hey, this is our thing. This is what we do. This is book club. We hang out together. We spend life together. We're getting to know each other. This channel, it's two things, isn't it? It's about a book, and it's about books. The loves of my life, right? And so I try to incorporate the two. And I saw something in here. I believe it's in chapter 7. When we get to 7, I'll show you. Might be in later 6. We'll see. But it went so perfect with this morning's video. If you didn't see this morning's video, it's called The Return of the First God. please go back after this and go watch that. Oh my God, guys, it came together so beautiful. But that's what I love about this channel. It's my two loves, the book and all the books. And I feel like we've grown a community here that are kind of the same mindset. So it says, "Yes," said our father, when Jim asked him if we could go over and sit by Miss Rachel's fish pool with Dill, as this was his last night in Maycomb. Tell him so long for me, and we'll see him next summer. So Dill's going home. He comes out every summer and goes home. I think it's kind of cute. Him and Scout are engaged now. Cracks me up. They're so cute. So this is the banter that I love about this book. Dill stretched and yawned, like being all casual, but too much. And Scout's thinking, something's up here. And this seems a little fishy to Scout. And he goes, I just want to go for, I don't know, a walk. She knows they're up to something. And so they're going back to Boo Radley's house, even though Atticus told him plainly, straightly, do not. Here's what it says, what Jem got from that conversation. Jem was not one to dwell on past defeats. It seemed the only message he got from Atticus was insight into the art of cross-examination. So he wasn't listening to what Atticus was telling him. He was just learning how next time to win the fight, win the argument. And oh my gosh, that just cracked me up. Dill and Jim were simply going to peep into the window with a loose shutter to see if they could get a look at Boo Radley. That's all. They're telling Scout, you don't have to go with us. And this one part, well, we'll get to that. So Jem goes up on the deck. He's trying to peep through. There's a shadow that appears on the porch. Scout sees it. Dill sees it. Jim hasn't seen it yet. Then Jim sees it, and they're freaking out. And then Jim takes off running. They all take off running, freaking out. They're going through the collard greens, and Scout falls, and then they hear a shotgun blast over their heads. And so now they're really freaking out. So Jim, he's all, to the fence, go, by the schoolyard. They run. He lifts up the fence for Dill and Scout to climb under. But then when he climbs under, his pants get caught. And so he's squirming, wiggling. Finally, he just screw it, leaves the pants, runs off with no pants on. Now, I love the way they think. They say they notice that all the neighbors are gathering around the Radley house to see what all the commotion was. They say they'll think it's funny if we don't show up, right? And so here the kids show up like, hey, guys, what's going on? You know, and here's Jem standing with no pants on. And of course, Atticus notices and he's all, where are your pants, son? And then it says, Scout's watching Dill in the glare from the streetlight. I could see Dill hatching out a good lie. And he says that, you know, they were playing strip poker and Jem lost. And so apparently all the adults buy that. Oh, then they head back, and I love it. They're sleeping on the porch. Again, this takes me to my grandma and grandpa's house when my cousins were there and all the neighbor kids would come over. We'd sleep out on their porch in the summertime. What is that? What is that? Just a universal thing that kids like to do? And we just lay out there and laugh and giggle and tell stories. And so now Jem, he's got to go back and get his pants. I think this is like 2 a.m. Scout does not want him to go because thinks he's going to get killed, but he can't leave his pants out there or he's going to get caught. And so he goes, gets them, and he comes back, kind of just shows Scout the pants wordlessly. And I guess he was pretty shook up. Something happened. It's got him pretty shook up, which takes us to chapter 7. And Jim's got a secret here. And I thought I figured it out. I thought they explained it, but there's more to it. So Jim stayed moody and silent for a whole week. And as Atticus had once advised me, I tried to climb into Jim's skin and walk around in it. So since that incident, whatever happened, Jim has not spoken for a whole week, hasn't uttered a word to her. Says school started. The second grade was as bad as the first, only worse. They still flashed cards at you and wouldn't let you read or write. Miss Carolyn's, this is funny. Miss Carolyn's, remember her first grade teacher, progress next door could be estimated by the frequency of laughter. But however, the usual crew had flunked the first grade again and were helpful in keeping order. So these little kids, they've been there now 3 or 4 years, they're turning into big kids, still in their class, and they're kind of keeping order, keeping the other kids in line, helping the teacher out. This cracks me up. Oh, let's see. So now Jim, and this is part of the secret, I guess. I thought this was the secret, but at the end, we'll see there's something else. He finally starts to talk to Jim, and he goes, I went back to get my pants that night. They were folded and sewn up and sitting on top of the fence, not all wadded up, stuck in the fence. Someone took them, mended them, folded them up, and left them for him, and it was freaking him out. Somebody knew. She says the second grade was grim, but Jim assured me that the older I got, the better school would be. It wasn't until he reached the sixth grade that one learned anything of value. And this is pretty, here's what I starred right here. I want you guys to get, and I kind of used it in this morning's video, which you'll see, you'll recognize this. It says the sixth grade seemed to please him from the beginning. He went through a brief Egyptian period that baffled me. He tried to walk flat a great deal, sticking one arm out in front of the other and the other in back of him, putting one foot in front of the other. So he's doing that Egyptian walk, right? He walked like an Egyptian. And he declared Egyptians walked that way. I said if they did, I didn't see how they got anything done. But Jim said they accomplished more than the Americans ever did. They invented toilet paper and perpetual embalming, and asked where would we be today if they hadn't. Now get this. Here's where I starred and underlined it. Atticus told me to delete the adjectives and I'd have the facts. That hit me like a ton of bricks. The adjectives, that's how you describe a noun, right? And if you have the wrong descriptions, it can change your image of the noun. And it worked beautifully in this morning's video. Make sure you go back and watch that. But I just love the way these three talk to each other. I love this family dynamic. I love how Atticus, he's still the parent figure, but he's a friend. He's a good teacher, a good mentor. Let's see. She talks about how in Alabama there's no defined seasons, right? It's just hot. One mild afternoon when our knothole stopped us again, something was inside. So now whoever's been putting stuff in that knothole is putting more in. And so he put 2 carved images out of soap, and it was a boy and a girl, and it was Jim and Scout. And so they're wow, someone's really knows us and has been watching us, because it was down to minute details. Then they end up finding a spelling medal. The biggest prize appeared 4 days later. It was a pocket watch that wouldn't run on a chain with an aluminum knife. So they're getting some great treasures here. So they get an idea to write a letter, put it in the hole to say thank you. So they say, "Dear sir, we appreciate everything which you have put in the tree for us. Yours very truly, Jim." And let's see. Oh, and then they come back one day from school and someone had filled that knothole up with concrete. And so they were pretty upset about that, because that was something kind of special to them. Now, at the end of chapter 7, it says, I saw Jim had been crying. His face was dirty in all the right places. So he's still crying. He's still got some secret. So I thought it was about the pants sewed up, and folded there. Something else. Why was Jim crying? Well, we'll have to find out tomorrow in chapter 8. All right, guys, I love you. We'll see you tomorrow.